You're a face-to-face final expense insurance agent. You want to pay careful attention to 3 tips that I'm going to share with you in this video. These tips will keep you safe, keep you compliant, and hopefully help you capitalize in ways that you didn't even think were possible. A lot of in-person insurance agents, they just don't understand what they're doing and why these little things really matter. So I hope you enjoy this video. And before I go into this, my name is Jason. I'm your friend in the business, and I'm very blessed to partner with brand new and veteran agents alike in our national agency selling life, Medicare, and annuities face to face, but more importantly, in the telespace. So free resources always for your taking at jasonfinalexpense.com. And I hope you enjoy this content today. So these are some critical tips that you want to take to heart when you're doing face to face insurance sales. So first off, tip number one is always take paper with you. I know you're like, what? We're in a day of e-apps and voice apps. Yeah, I get it. Always take paper with you. You need to have pen and paper ready to go in every home that you're in. Paper applications are important because if your technology goes down, you're losing profitability, and the emotion of the sale is just tanking the moment that you leave that home. So if you have to come back yet again, you're not helping yourself in this business and you're going to hurt yourself. So first off, always carry paper applications in case the electronic interface goes down, or let's say something else, compliance. All right. I'm going to give you a little tip that's going to hopefully save you if a client dies prior to the 2-year mark. If a client passes away, a great person, well, the insurance company is going to call and say, hey, Jason, did you take the application? Who asked the health questions? All these pointy fingered questions are coming to you. You've got to be ready to take care of business. This is why this tip is critical. Print off the health application questionnaire for every insurance carrier that you're representing. If you're a captive insurance agent doing the good work, do that too. All right. This is very critical for you because if they pass away in the first 2 years, they're going to come calling you via email or a phone call and saying, hey, what did you know? Who asked the health questions? Well, tough to document on an e-app, right? Oh, yeah, I answered those things. No, 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 and yes here and no there. Well, better yet, have you printed paper application where the checked health questions that you've asked of the prospect are placed down with ink. And then they're going to sign that application, right? Just like they would do a paper application. Even if you're doing e-app, my friends, take one extra step. Let that prospect own their answers. Then go ahead on every one of their no's and have the consumer initial first, middle, and last after they've reread their health questions. They're now going to be in a place where every answer that they told you as the agent was a no, they're going to acknowledge with their first, middle, and last initial, and then they're going to sign and date it right there at the bottom. So if that person passes away, you can give the insurance company, and even the family for that matter, a copy of the health questionnaire saying, hey, mom said she didn't have COPD and heart failure and all these other things, or dad said he didn't have these things. And what's going to happen is when the tears stop, the blood flows, right? You heard that saying? They're going to go, my mom would never have this or that. If you can give the family or give the insurance company a copy of the application with not only the checked marks, but give them the application with the initials on every health response, that really shows that you as the agent did your due diligence to prove to the company, but also to prove to the family, if needs be, that you asked the right questions. So if the wrong check, because if a consumer lies on something, the insurance company is just going to give the family back the money back, plus a tiny bit of interest, and they're not going to like this when it happens. So a way of protecting yourself and protecting the insurance company is printing the application, always carrying the health app with you, and actually having them go through that process of rereading the health questions, checking that box, and first and last and middle initial on every single health question, and then they're going to sign and date it, even if you're doing an e-app. This really gets that consumer thinking that, oh, my answers really matter, because these answers do. The check is cut or not cut based on them being honest and open when that application is written. And that doesn't matter if you're a captive insurance agent or an independent agent. So carry paper applications, carry multiple copies of the health questionnaire. If you're doing multiple companies and you're a big e-app guy or gal, Doesn't matter. Compliance, compliance, compliance. Protect your consumer, but also protect you. So they're owning their answers. And this is going to really save you if you have someone that passes away prior to that 2-year mark specifically. After 2 years that a policy has been on the books, really doesn't matter. The insurance company will just rubber stamp those checks. Those checks are just going to come out because it's past the point of what they call contestability for policies. So compliance, number one, carry paper applications. It's an amazing best practice. Carry the full application with you. So if the insurance company's e-app portal goes down, you're not in a place where you got to go waste your gas and drive all the way back. This has saved my bacon more times than you can count. But paper applications are going to help you from a profitability standpoint, a protection standpoint. And then unfortunately, if the consumer ever passes away prior to that 2-year mark, you now have a way of showing the insurance company and the family for that matter that, yes, I asked all the health questions. I recorded the legal responses, and then mom reread her questions and initialed. Dad reread his health questions and initialed and marked every one of them. Oh, by the way, first, middle, and last initial on each and every health response. You can't get cleaner than this when you're writing applications and taking paper. It just really helps you. Paper is king. It really is. And if you just do an e-app, it's he said, she said, or he said, if something happens. All right. So tip number 2, and I hope you're liking this content so far. If you do, appreciate you liking it. If you don't, put in the comments that you don't like it. That's okay too. I've been in this industry a long time, but this is a tip. Tip number 1 is one you really want to take to heart. Carry those paper apps. It protects you, protects the consumer, protects the insurance company, all the way around. Number 2, replacement paperwork. Replacements are real opportunities for you when you're out in that field. If you're coming across a policy that ends in life, right? Or maybe it rhymes with a penny. These are just profitability marks to you as an insurance agent in a lot of cases. And they're not bad companies. Some of these one-trick ponies or one insurance company carriers, that's all they allow to be sold. The thing there is they're an overpriced product, not a bad product. They're good products, but there's better priced products to give the consumer a better handshake. If we can give that consumer higher death benefit for lower money a month, that should be replaced, especially if we can give them day one coverage. So replacement is real opportunity. But once again, make sure, number 1, that you are documenting the paper application on every one of those health responses so that the consumer's safe and you're safe as the insurance agent doing this replacement. But carry replacement paperwork with you so that you're ready to go. A lot of insurance agents get up into that home and then they go, oh, you've already got coverage. And we like tuck tail and run out the door. Oh, you've already got coverage. You don't need me. They may need you more than ever. Find out how long they've had that coverage. How much is the death benefit? Is there cash value? How much are you paying? What do you like about that policy? If I can get you more death benefit for less money, can we continue the conversation? Have an opportunity where you can bring them value. Sometimes you can't replace a policy, but a lot of times certain companies, you could walk in 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 years later and give them a lot more death benefit for a whole lot less money on the monthly. It's power. But a lot of insurance agents don't carry replacement paperwork with them in their cars. Should be in your briefcase, ready to go. So when that opportunity presents itself, you can powerfully protect the consumer. Now, when you're doing replacements, as long as they're honest on the application, once again, tip number 1, make sure that they own their health responses. But number 2, replacement paperwork needs to be filled out properly. And certain insurance companies want the paper wet ink signatures. So just go ahead and do it. Always carry those replacement papers in your car anyway. Just do it as a redundancy when you're in that home so that you've got it in your file. Tons of opportunity here to take care of people, but make sure that you always keep this in mind. If you do this replacement to your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, then fine, do it to somebody else, but don't be doing it just for commission. A lot of insurance agents get hurt here because they're doing it just to make the money. We got to make that person's life better than when we found it. So number 2, replacements are real opportunity. Carry that paperwork with you so you can profitably and powerfully protect the consumer. Number 3, and this is important, I need you to document the date and the time that you met with every person when you've sold them something, especially on replacements. It's really important because once again, if that person passes away prior to the 2-year mark, the insurance company is going to ask you when you met with them. Was it your first time, your second time? What do you know about them? Write down little notes, what they wanted you to do for them. It doesn't take long. Just write those notes down so you can be really diligent. Those notes may not be needed, you think, but you're going to really be appreciative if the person passes in that first 2-year mark. And now you need to know when you met with them, what time, what date. You're like, oh, nuts. You need to document if you did an e-app, write down, I did an e-app. Okay. A voice application is one of the most powerful ways to compliantly handle applications, in my opinion. A voice application, the insurance company keeps a record of, but if you took a voice app, write down the name of the interviewer, write down the time and the date that took place, write down the fact that you answered, okay, or asked all the questions and received the answers as what they were and documented that. That's why those paper applications, once again, are important. But document the time and the date that you sold this great consumer. Document what method of application you took, if it was a paper application, an electronic e-app, or you used a voice application. Document what they used for the signature signing spot as well. Some carriers will allow you to do voice app. Some carriers you can do what's your favorite food, all kinds of fun stuff. And if you need good insurance carriers, jasonfinalexpense.com, we can absolutely help you. Or if you're a captive insurance agent that's looking for some best practices, or maybe you want to get paid more than maybe the compensation that you're at now, reach out. We can serve you as well. But document the date and the time that you sold that person. It takes 2 seconds to put some digits down. So if it was like, oh, July 4th, and put the date, and then, oh, it was 11:45 p.m. If it was a one-call close, write down the time, what they wanted you to do for them. And then if anything ever happens in the future, you've got documentation to have due diligence on your behalf, so that not only the insurance company knows that you're doing right by the consumer, but God forbid, once again, if somebody passes away, this is critical to you, and it's going to take away this, like, oh no, what date did I sell them? I just have an e-app. I don't have any initials that the consumer, even though I asked all the health questions, that consumer's gone, right? This is really documenting multiple times where you've asked the health questions, the consumer then reread them, and then they put their initials down on paper. This really helps take panic away if that person passes away under that 2-year mark, because you're going to feel like, oh no, what did I do wrong? Probably nothing. But these critical tips will take you to the next level, especially with replacements. But anytime you take an application and not using a voice application where you've documented that verbal response from the consumer with their living, breathing breath, it's amazing to take care of folks running IntelliScripts. They're running MIB hits immediately to see if they'll take them or not. But these extra little tips will keep you clean, keep you powerful, and hopefully will allow you to protect more consumers. And there's a level of professionalism that takes place when you have a consumer own their health responses. You set yourself apart from everybody else in the industry when you're grabbing paper application, even on an e-app. A lot of people like paper, and you say, okay, you're saying, Mrs. Johnson, all these are no's, or Mr. Johnson, all these are no's. Is that right? Good. Go ahead and reread all the health questions. I just need you to check mark that no if that's still the case. And then I need you to initial, first, middle, and last on every one of these health responses. And then we'll go ahead and sign and date at the bottom if that is correct. Go ahead and reread that for me if you would. Same exact questions I just read to you. If you want to go ahead and please check those over again. The person's living, they'll be able to go through that and do that on the front side. And then on the back side, you will not only be squeaky clean, but then you saved the insurance company from even having to ask you. You go like, here's a copy of the health responses in addition to the e-app maybe that you like taking. So these little things can really take you far, especially when these sweet people, unfortunately, at times will pass prior to that 2-year mark in that contestability side. And it'll maybe take some panic out of your chest, help you have everything in that file where you've got everything you need. And if they have other coverage, document, even if you're not replacing it, that they have that coverage, death benefit, name of company, how much a month. It's very powerful. This will protect you, keep you in a good place where you can take care of great consumers. If we can do anything to help you, jasonfinalexpense.com. Hope you like this content. Hope it brings you some value today. Take care of good people, and hopefully these tips will keep you safe. See you soon.